So I'll just talk you through what the PowerPoint was going to say. So we're going to go through an outline of the program. We're going to talk about placements because obviously that's a big part of a physiotherapy program. And then, like I said, at the end, we'll ask you I'll open the floor and you can ask me any questions. Okay. So the first thing to say is we've got lots of wonderful physiotherapy staff that work in the at QMU, and the staff work at both the BSc course and also the MSc, this pre-reg course that you guys are interested in. We've got lots of lovely staff that work in the team, and we have some people that are still working clinically. We have some people that are researchers and have got PhDs. We have some of the staff, most of the staff are physios, but some aren't. We have a brilliant physiology teacher, Kath. And we also have a new member of staff that joined us last year, and she teaches on public health. So we've got a really wide range of staff that can contribute to your learning as a physiotherapist. Okay, here's the pictures of the teams. That's what I wanted to show you. So you can see all our lovely staff. Like I said, most of us are physios, not all of us, but we come from lots of different varied backgrounds. We've got people who are specialists in musculoskeletal, people who are specialists in cardiorespiratory physio, people who are specialists in neurological physio. So we have everything covered, as well as, like I said, people who have got research backgrounds. A few of our staff still work clinically and they teach on the clinical modules. Okay. So who comes on the physiotherapy program? Well, we're pleased to say that lots of different people from lots of different backgrounds come on this course, and we're aware that some universities stipulate that you have to have a particular background, for example, in science. We don't actually stipulate that with our MSc pre-reg. And I think that's a really great thing because I don't think you have to particularly be very academic and sciencey to be on this course. Physiotherapy is a very practical course, and physiotherapy as a profession, it's about being able to talk to people and be a good communicator. So we welcome people from many different backgrounds, and I think that helps really well making our course quite diverse. And I think the fact that you bring different people from different backgrounds, it really adds to the learning environment because people from different environments have lots of different things to bring. And yeah, I like that we do that. I think it's a really valid thing that we encourage people from lots of different backgrounds to come onto this course. Okay. So I'll just briefly talk you through the program structure. It's a 2-year accelerated course. If you think we do the same with the undergrads in 4 years. So it is an intense course. I'm not going to lie. It's very intense, and it's intense. I'll tell you that now. You can ask me more questions about that at the end. So in your first semester, we would do foundations of physiotherapy, and what that is basically your anatomy and your physiology. So to be a good physiotherapist, you have to have a good grounding of anatomy and physiology, and that will be covered in your first year throughout semester 1 and semester 2. You also start 2 of your clinical modules in semester 1, which are cardiorespiratory, and you'll start musculoskeletal, and then you do a general course called Preparing for Practice as an AHP, which is with other AHPs within the university. AHP is Allied Health Professional. Sorry, if I say things that don't make sense, please stop me and ask me. So in your semester 2, you carry on with your anatomy and physiology. You then continue with and finish your musculoskeletal module. You then start your neurological rehabilitation module, and you start to do some research methods. So at the end of your first year, because you've done all your clinical modules very quickly within the first 2 semesters, you're then ready to go out on placement. So at the end of your first year in semester 3, you would go on to 2 placements, 2 6-week placements. What's not on this list is that at the end of semester 1, you also do a 2-week, what we call a foundation placement, which is a bit like an observational placement, just to introduce you to the healthcare environment. And then in your second year, the second year is a little bit more relaxed than the first year. The first year is very intense because we have to do all the clinical modules before you go on placement. But the second year is a little bit more relaxed. And we do a module called Advancement of Physiotherapy, which is doing things that are a little bit different, like spinal cord injuries, crane, amputees, learning disabilities. You then start your research dissertation, and there's another module called Developing Innovative Physiotherapy Practice, which is quite different, quite exciting. One of our lecturers, Cavi, runs that. You then do your next placement in what will be your semester 5. You do a module called Supporting Health and Wellbeing, which is a public health module, and then you finish your dissertation, and then you end the course with your last 2 placements. So you can see the placements sort of filter throughout the whole course. So practice-based placements. Obviously, placements are a big part of this course. They will fulfill about a quarter of the total program. Okay, it's a practical course, and the best way to learn how to be a physiotherapist is to go on placement and really do it. So just to say that all the placements will take place in Scotland, and not all the placements will be in Edinburgh, I'm afraid to say. We don't have enough placements for every one of our students to have all 4 or 5 of their placements in Edinburgh. So some of the placements will be out with Edinburgh, and we encourage you to consider that when you're thinking about your planning. Like I said, practice-based placements, they present, you try and aim to get 1,000 hours. That's the current aim, is we aim for 1,000 hours of clinical placement hours within the 2 years. Some people need more than that. We're aware that certain areas, for example, the Canadian Alliance, they need 1,025 hours of clinical placement hours. So we're very aware of all this and we know all this. Same with CORI, which is the Irish application process. We're aware of what hours you need and we'll ensure you have enough hours to register where you want to when you finish your degree. Where will the placements be? They can be in lots and lots of different environments. And we know that when people come and do this course, they're often quite surprised by how diverse physiotherapy is. People don't always realise what diverse areas we work in. You might be in a large acute hospital. You might be in a small remote hospital. You might be in a specialist rehabilitation hospital, like a spinal injuries unit. It could be in health centres, for example, like a local GP practice where you would complete a musculoskeletal outpatient placement. You might be in the community. We have a lot of school placements as well, in different types of schools, children's schools generally, and there might be placements in voluntary sector and care homes. We generally organise your placements. So who organises the placements? It's us. We organise placements 1 to 4. We can take preferences. If there's a particular area you want to have a placement in, we can try and accommodate that. But you need to get a broad range of placements. So you need to have placements in musculoskeletal, you need to have placements in neurological physiotherapy and cardiorespiratory physiotherapy. So you need to get the broad range of where physiotherapists work. So we'll ensure you do that, but we can take into account people's preferences as well. We do have an elective placement as well that is optional, and you can do that at the end of the course. And we say that you can decide where you want to do that. I will be honest with you, at the moment, the elective placements have just been postponed. Well, not postponed, they've been taken out of the course for the short term, just because of the situation with COVID and the shortage of placements. But I'm hopeful by the time you guys with us, maybe we'll have this vaccine by then, the elective placements will be back up and running. Okay, so what can we provide for you at QMU in the physiotherapy department? We can provide a challenging and stimulating program. All students always say how challenging it is, but also stimulating. We can provide you with the necessary resources to succeed. So we have great resources with the library. We have great support services. We will also give you individual academic and pastoral support. So we have what's called a PAT system, which is a personal academic tutor. So each student will be allocated to be looked after, if you like, by one of the staff, one of the physiotherapy staff, and they'll be your mentor and your support for the whole of the degree. We also have great pastoral support. The people in, I can't think of the word, the wellbeing service are very good, and we often refer our students to them. It is an intense course, and people often just need a little bit of help to manage their learning. We've got, like I said, a highly dedicated, experienced and committed programme team. And what particularly I found about QMU is I joined QMU just last October, so I've been here just a year. It's a really lovely, small, it's not excessively small, but it's a small university, so everyone knows each other and there's a really friendly feel about it. And that's particularly what drew me to QMU, and I've really enjoyed working there because of this small, friendly working environment that we've got at QMU. Okay, so I'll open the floor up because this is probably the main reason why you've come, to come and ask me questions. Yeah, Greg's saying he's been here for 13 years and it's awesome. I would agree. I've only been here for a year, but it is a great place to work and be. It's just got a lovely atmosphere on the campus. It's really friendly. So yeah, so if anyone wants to ask me any questions, please do. And I can answer any questions you've got about the course or placements or anything at all.
And just to jump in as well, just if you want to type the questions in, or if you want to maybe put your microphone or your camera on if you feel brave, then we're happy for that as well.
It's lovely to see people if you want to talk to me. No pressure though. Someone's just asked about the start date. No, Heather, it's not always January. It's normally September, and we started with a January cohort last year. Um, and we didn't have a September cohort this year just because of the situation with COVID. But normally we would have a September and a January cohort. And Sarah's asking if the course is being delivered by blended. It is being delivered by blended learning because of the government restrictions and guidelines about face-to-face teaching. At the moment, our pre-reg students have 5 hours face-to-face a week. And that's what we're limited to at the moment. So everything else will go on online. Yeah. So all the other sessions will be done online in what we call a synchronous session. So it'll be a bit like a tutorial would be, but it's online. And any of the practical classes are face-to-face. Like I said, we're limited to 5 hours face-to-face at the moment. That could change, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Kate's asking, is there any specific work experience needed for the application? Now, again, we appreciate that at the current times, people are struggling to get work experience because people can't get into hospitals at the moment to shadow people, etc. If you've had some work experience within a physiotherapy department, that will certainly strengthen your application. But it doesn't have to be specific to physiotherapy. What I'd say is if you've done any kind of voluntary work or even if you've worked maybe in a nursing home, anything like that, anything where you've shown that you've got good communication skills, you can work with people, you can work as part of a team, anything that's transferable, you can promote on your application. Does that answer that question, Kate? Yeah, great. Ben, how many students? It changes every year, to be honest, Ben. We've had, like, for example, our current second years, there's 37. Our January cohort last year was 26. There's going to be about 60 this year because we delayed the September starts into January. So it does vary each year. What I'd say is if it is a bigger cohort, we take you into smaller groups for the teaching. So you would never do a practical course, a practical class, for example, with 60 students. We'd normally take it down to 20, 25. So it varies every year, Ben. Hard to answer that question. As I said, we're doing 60 this year. Sarah's asking, she's saying she's not based in Edinburgh at the moment, wondering if it's a possibility for students to live at home and travel to Edinburgh for the face-to-face classes, or is it essential to live full-time in Edinburgh? No, I mean, it depends how far away. It's completely up to you if you're happy with that commute. We have a few students that live in different parts of Scotland and they just travel to university for their face-to-face classes. Yes, that's absolutely fine. We've got some students up in Fife. We've got some students down the borders. So yeah, if you're happy to do that commute, that's absolutely fine by us, as long as you're there for the face-to-face classes. What we'd say is we know it's difficult at the moment with COVID, and obviously there's lots of anxiety about people coming into the university, but it is a practical course and we really need to teach you these practical skills to enable you to go out on placement. And it is a challenge at the moment, but we couldn't teach this course purely online, I'm afraid. Yeah, if you wanted to stay at home and just commute for the classes, that would be absolutely fine, Sarah. So Cillian, I hope I've said that correctly, is asking, can you elaborate further on how you prepare students for placements? Well, we do, there's an actual module called Preparing for Practice as an allied health professional, which I'm not part of, so I can't explain it in excessive detail, I'm afraid. But it prepares you for how to be a professional, with professional conduct, professional behaviour. We also prepare you by having the clinical modules. So like I said, there's 3 clinical modules that you'll participate in: musculoskeletal, neurological physiotherapy, and cardiorespiratory physio. And they will teach you the base sort of foundation skills you need to go out on placement. And we also have specific placement coordinators who arrange all the placements, and they will do sessions with you pre-placement to prepare you for placements as well. So there's the whole course is sort of, if you like, arranged around preparing you for placement, because like I said, it is a practical course, and at the end of it you will become a physiotherapist. So the whole course is designed to enable you to become a physiotherapist at the end of it, and obviously to enable you to succeed on your placements. We did go through a revalidation process this year, so the course has recently been revalidated as well. Anything else, anything specific you wanted to know, Cillian? Any other questions? Would anyone like to put their camera on and talk to me? When is the deadline to apply? I'm not sure. Do you know, Greg?
I do. It's the 31st of January 2021, and the deadline will cover the September 2021 intake and the January 2022 intake as well. So yeah, you've got a couple of months, just maybe 2.5 months before that. You're very welcome, Heather. I just wanted to say as well, if anybody has any questions about Edinburgh coming to Scotland, I'm not sure where everyone's calling in from. There's not a prize for whoever's the furthest away. Or if anyone wants to just maybe let us know, we're always interested as to where people are joining us from today. If anyone also has any questions maybe about Edinburgh or coming to Scotland, for example, we're more than happy to chat away. We've got plenty of time. I have my camera off actually, so I'm being a spoil sport, Lindsay. My Wi-Fi's been a little bit iffy this morning, as we've all found out, sadly. Kate in Dublin. Do you know what? I've been to Dublin once for the afternoon, and I'm desperate to go back because it looked amazing. And you can't not like Dublin.
Yeah, I've never been to Ireland. It's on my list of places I need to go.
I've been to the airport a few times as well, but in terms of the city, I was in the city I got sent for work actually for an afternoon to go to a recruitment event in Dublin. Balls Bridge, I think, Kate, was the area. It was next to the Aviva Stadium, which looked amazing as well. So,
We have lots of students from Ireland, Kate, on the physiotherapy course, especially on the MSc pre-reg course. Yay, lots of Irish people, yay. Brilliant, yeah. Yeah, good. Heather's from Edinburgh, good, so Heather knows all about Edinburgh.
does anyone have any questions maybe about the application process or anything like that, or the university in general? I'm not trying to force people to talk, but it's just in case we can be as helpful as we need to be for anyone.
So we don't actually interview for this course. It's all the application process is done through admissions, and there's certain criteria that we advise admissions to look at to see if people can get a place, basically. So no, we don't do interviews for this course. And Kate's coming from a psychology degree, and she's worried about not being as prepared as other students starting off. So what I would say about that is, on this course, I've seen this over the last year, so we get lots of people from sports science background, we get lots of kinesiologists from Canada, and you would think that they would be at a higher level and they would maybe be at an advantage. But actually, although they're not disadvantaged at all, what I've seen is that people come from art backgrounds, history backgrounds, all kinds of different backgrounds, and they're not necessarily the people that don't do as well. Often they're the people that do just as well, if not better. So it doesn't matter that you come from a psychology background. And to be honest, Kate, there's quite a lot of psychology in physiotherapy. People don't always realise that. So I think with a psychology degree, you'll be perfectly placed to come into a physiotherapy degree. Please don't worry about that. Yeah, and it would be lovely to hear your view on things as well, Kate. Yeah. Sorry, Greg.
Sorry, Lindsay, just again, I just want to say, in terms of the course, I guess your role as program leader and all the physiotherapy team is to provide everyone with the theory and the practical skills that they need. We don't expect anyone to be a physiotherapist when they come in and when they start. So I guess the beauty of it and the real benefit of it is that you're coming in and it's our obligation and our duty to make sure that you are fully trained up and have all the skills, the practical and theoretical skills and knowledge to go out into the big bad world and take on the role of physiotherapist.
Absolutely. And what I would say is physiotherapy, it's not a difficult degree. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of information to take on board, but it's not difficult. And that sounds silly because I'm a physiotherapist, so I can say that. but it's not, it's about it's about coming in the right mind and being motivated to learn, really, which we find the MSCs, the pre-reg students most definitely are, because you've already done a degree, and you're really keen to learn and keen to become a physiotherapist. So as long as you come in with the right attitude, I don't think it doesn't matter what background you come from, you've got the potential to be able to succeed on this degree. Absolutely. Sometimes it's better to have a bit of a blank canvas, to be honest. Sometimes if people come in with set ideas and set thoughts about things, a lot of the time we have to then maybe challenge their ideas and thoughts, which is also great because it opens up, for good discussions about different topics. But yeah, don't worry about people having more knowledge than you. Because like Greg said, you're here to learn from us how to become a physiotherapist. We don't expect you to come with the knowledge.
I was just going to say as well, Lindsay, I guess that the fact that people are coming in with different kind of, the learning experiences are different, maybe in Ireland from Canada, from Hong Kong,
Yeah,
from Scotland, I guess the different perspectives adds value to the classroom as well, and everyone's learning,
absolutely.
how people have got to the point where they're now in the classroom sharing an experience with each other, and I think that's really valuable.
Yeah, definitely. We have people from such really interesting and diverse backgrounds on this course, on the MSc Pre-Reg course, and a lot of mature students as well, and they bring a lot to the class as well. A lot of life experience, and yeah, we have interesting discussions in class often, and it's really interesting, like Greg just said as well, the difference between healthcare systems as well. Often that opens quite a lot of interesting chat as well. Canada, Ireland, the UK, it's all very different, and that opens for some quite interesting conversations as well. Anyone else got any questions? Anything at all? No question is a silly question. Are you with other students in your placements? Heather's asking. Some, but not all. Some placements we do what's called a PAL placement, which is a peer assisted learning. So there may be two of you to one supervisor, for example, but not everyone. So some of you will be going out by yourself. What we tend to find, if like we use the big hospitals in Edinburgh or Livingston, is that probably about 3 or 4 of you all in that hospital at the same time, or you might not be on exactly the same placement. So yeah, it's yes and no, Heather. Macaulay's just asking me, is it possible to get an entry with a BSc with extensive work and life experience, or is the ONS a must and can't be worked around? I don't know the answer to that actually, Macaulay. Do you know that, Greg? I can find out for you though.
Do you know what? Macaulay, we would never ever dissuade you from putting an application in. But what I guess we probably should say is that it is a very competitive course and it's a competitive field to gain entry. I think, without discussing anything too detailed, because it's kind of personal to yourself, what I would say is make your application. But what I think the admissions team would be really looking for there is to look at your work experience. If you're saying you've got extensive work experience and life experience, then that may well enhance the quality of your application, or it's not the quality, but the competitiveness of your application. So please don't be dissuaded by that. We do, and in the story I kind of tell people if I'm out and about speaking to people about physio or speech therapy or any of the kind of competitive courses, really is that yes, we'll look at your academic skills, and that's really important. But it's you as a person, and it's you. We have people who have very high academic levels of qualification, but they don't necessarily have the background skills, or they can't necessarily demonstrate that they have an understanding of what a physiotherapist's role, what their role is. So if you can do that, then that certainly stands you in good stead. So I wouldn't be too dissuaded, but again, just to make sure that everyone's aware that we do receive a lot of applications. It is a popular course. The other option, Lindsay, without to plug other courses just now, is also the undergraduate masters in physiotherapy as well. So that's was our BSc in physiotherapy, which has now been revalidated and restructured to an undergraduate masters as well. So if you have a look at the website, that might be something that you can you can maybe look at as well. That tends to attract people maybe coming in from school or from college. So the level of academic experience is slightly different there. But again, you come out with a qualification that allows you to register to practice in the UK and overseas. So there are options there for you.
Yeah, I would agree completely with what Greg's just said. Definitely. It's like I said earlier, physiotherapy is not. You don't have to be the cleverest person in the world to be a physiotherapist. You need to be able to communicate with people and have good, good team working skills. They're more important skills in my mind. So if you can prove that in your application, what I'd say as well is, if you want to email me afterwards, I can put you in touch with Kavi and Tika, our admissions team, and they could maybe advise you a little bit more about your application. Macaulay, if that's all right, if you want to do that. My email's just on screen now, and I can put you in touch with them, and they might be able to advise you more. Yeah. I tell you, I applied for physiotherapy way back when I was young, and I didn't get any places at all the first time I applied, even though I had the grades. And then I went away and worked as a physio assistant for a year. And then just from doing that and having exactly the same grades, I then got about 5 or 6 offers. So a lot of it is about the experience more than the academic qualifications. Great then. So,
Lindsay, do you want me to take Christopher's question there just about the deadline?
yes, where's that one? Did I miss that one?
No, it's just come in just now, just at the second bottom. First of all, Josh, you're more than welcome to drop us an email to Student Recruitment at any time if there's anything you're needing there, even if it's to point you to Lindsay or to myself. If you've got questions, we're more than happy to help in any way. But Christopher's asked a really good question just about the deadline on the 31st of January. If you receive a large number of applications, is there any risk of it being capped? Well, I would say, and Lindsay, maybe you can back me on this. I would say no to that question, because what they tend to do is to save all the applications and then review them at once, so that everybody has a fair and equal chance of being able to have a crack at getting a place. So, and the other thing, Christopher, as well, just to kind of try and reassure you a little bit further, is that in terms of the applicants for the course, most will be in the same situation as yourself, that you're still studying. You're maybe in your final year just now of your undergraduate degree. There's 2 kinds of offers that can be made. There's a conditional offer, which is made to those who maybe haven't submitted all their documentation, or to those who are still studying, and the condition may well be that you have to, get whatever grades in your undergrad, or to supply further information. Or if you have finished, then an unconditional offer, would be made, or could be made to you for your application there. So we do support. I would actually say the vast majority of people at this point will be in the same boat as yourself, Christopher, and they will still be studying at the moment. So please don't be put off in any shape, way, or form. Everybody will get a fair hearing. That's maybe not the right way to put it in terms of their applications being assessed, but everyone gets a fair chance. And I would say that I would probably guesstimate maybe 80 to 90% of the people who make applications are still studying, so will be made conditional offers. Admissions tend to take so the deadline's maybe the end of January, so they maybe take till maybe March time to get the decisions out to people. But again, we'll run further sessions between now and next September and January, where you can come in and just ask us questions, and that those questions are perfectly legitimate. I think that's a really good question, and I'm very grateful for you for asking that, actually, because it's something we really should make people aware of.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm just looking back at, I can't see the name, sorry if I say this wrong, Aine Maloney's question. How are we examined on placement? So your placements are assessed by your clinical educators. So the physiotherapist that takes you on placement will assess you on placement. So we don't directly we do get involved, but it's the clinical educator that assesses you, and they will assess you over the course of the 6 weeks. And so looking at things like how you assess patients, how you can treat patients, how you can be part of the team. So it's done through the clinical educator. Now we have regular updates for clinical educators, so they're aware of our paperwork, and they know that to try and get a certain amount of equity across the board, so people are getting marked fairly. So it's completely marked by your clinical educator. It's across the 6 weeks. It won't be an exam as such. It's a basic. It's a view of your whole performance over the whole 6 weeks of the placement. Okay. And then Josh, yeah, Josh knows that we're recording it. That's good. And then Christopher, we've answered. Yeah, great, lovely. That's all the questions, I think. Is there any more questions? Thought so, yeah. Like I said, it's about proving. I mean, even working in a restaurant or a cafe is experience, because again, you're working with people, members of the public, you're communicating with people. So anything like that, but anything that's healthcare related would strengthen your application further, absolutely. Like I said, I was a physiotherapy assistant for a year and that really improved my application. But I'm not saying you all have to do that, because I appreciate those roles are often difficult to come across. Certainly at the moment, a lot of the NHS trusts in the UK anyway will be advertising temporary posts with winter monies. They get a little bit more money generally in the winter. So again, if you're in a position where you can take up a role and you wanted to gain some experience through that way, that might be something to look at as well. Look for sort of band 3, band 4 roles if you are in the UK. Like I said, it doesn't have to be in the NHS. It doesn't have to be healthcare related. It can be things like working in a nursing home, volunteering in a school. You know, anything like that is valid and is valuable. And if you've got a biology degree, that would certainly pick you up, you know, put you in good stead for all your anatomy and physiology in the first year.
Lindsay, would the pre-starting module that you're running now for the January starts be worth sort of talking about in terms of online, maybe not online training per se, but I think in terms of the support that the amazing support you're providing for the students starting in January.
So we've got, yeah, absolutely. We've got a course that we provide free for the new starters. So the people that are starting in January 2021 will do that starting at the beginning of December, and it's a learning methodologies course. So it's about basically learning as a master's student, because we appreciate that most people moving from an undergraduate degree to a master's degree will be a bit of a change. Okay, so what this 3-week module is meant to do is to prepare you for master's learning. So that's something we would provide once you've been offered a place. We would provide that to you before the course starts to sort of help your transition from undergraduate learning to postgraduate learning. Because again, there is a big push within this course for a lot of self-directed learning, so it is quite different to an undergraduate degree. So yeah, we're providing that at the moment. That's something we provide. We would also, once you had accepted, we send you an information booklet with some pre-reading on anatomy and biomechanics and things like that, and physiology, just so that you've got a good grounding to start the degree with when you start either in the September or the January. Yeah, we provide those things for you once you've got a base. But are you thinking, Josh, more to improve your application? Yeah, pre-reading, yeah, you would be sent that once you had a place. But you know, a biology degree is a good, would stand you in good stead, absolutely, for your anatomy and physiology in the first year. Again, if you want to email me, Josh, after the session, I can again put you in touch with our admission guys, Cabby and Pratik, and see if they're aware of any courses, if you're really keen to do that online.
Can I also put a little plug out? We run really for, I guess, to put ourselves out there, just so we're approachable and can support everyone. But the recruitment and international team now, again, don't be focused too much on the word international because it's open to everyone. It's just, I guess, where we're based. But on a Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon every week, we run online sessions just like this. Now they're open sessions. They're just a case of if you have questions that you want to ask, you can come in and have a chat with myself or with one of my team, as well. So, through to December for January starts. But again, we'll run them right through till next September. So if anybody does want to come in, maybe have questions after today that they want to just drop in and say hello and ask us some questions, put us on the spot, put us under pressure and ask us some difficult questions, then, we're always happy to see you, and we're always happy to have a wee chat and a wee blether on a Wednesday morning or a Wednesday afternoon. Come in and say hello and just just ask us what you need to ask us. I think we've had some brilliant questions today. Lindsay and I ran a session for the students that are starting with us in January last week, and it's very different, part of the kind of journey that everyone goes on to get to start the course. So it's fascinating. But the one thing that we will really, really want to make sure that everybody does have access to is the support that you need to make informed decisions. If it's to roll the course in that you're interested in, great. We'll happily help you do that. But if it's to find out that the course or any course is maybe not for you as well, it's really important that you've got the information to hand now that helps you to come to that informed decision. We would want you to have access to all the information that you need to make sure that you can do that. So I'll be quiet for a wee minute, Lindsay. You'll be glad to hear. And
the other thing I would say is, if you all look to the Chartered Society of Physiotherapists website, the CSP, have a look. They've got lots of information on there about becoming a physiotherapist, and and that would be a really good place to look and get any ideas about how you can learn more about the profession. Lovely. Any other questions?
We're actually just about out of time. Just really wanted to say a massive thanks to everyone for coming in and joining us today. It's been lovely to kind of virtually meet everyone. And to hopefully answer some questions and for you to find out some more about physiotherapy at Queen Margaret University. A massive, massive thank you as always to Lindsay for coming in and being as amazing as you always are. Thank you very much. It's been lovely to meet you all. And I'll let Lindsay have the final say.
It's lovely to see you all, virtually see you all today. And I hope you all successful with your applications. Hopefully see you all in the future at some point.
Great. Thanks everyone. Take care. Stay safe out there. Enjoy your rest of your Tuesday. And as I say, if there's anything you need, you let us know. That's the rules. We're here to help you. And just take care and stay safe out there. Thanks again.
Bye everyone.